Hi, I'm Dan Licht. I'm the composer for Silent Hill Downpour.
Something's very wrong here.
The Silent Hill world is dark and fraught. It's actually a very emotional game in a lot of ways. Generally, it seems like there's a backstory of loss. The main characters have, something that's at stake that's important to them. I try and make it expressive, but dark, emotional kind of world. It's not all about like psycho string stabs. There's some of that, obviously, but a lot of it's about mood. Silent Hill is always misty, a lot of the shots are at night, so the music is sort of kind of dark and misty too. Generally in Silent Hill, your objective is to survive. The genre, I guess, is called horror escape.
Murphy! Run!
You're always trying to get somewhere and solve a mystery, figure out what happened to this person. You're trying to find someone or save someone or help someone. But a lot of it is just to get from point A to point B without getting killed. I think what a lot of people like about it is that even if there's no monsters attacking you, it's sort of the walking around this creepy, deserted town is a kind of a cool feeling, and that you are free to go in different buildings.
You can't undo anything you've already done, but you can face up to it.
What? Who's there?
I do a lot of dark projects, and I definitely will go into that mood. And sometimes it'll take me maybe an hour or a half hour to get out of that mood. So I might, when I'm working a lot, and if I see people that are like, what's wrong with him? I'm kind of still like, in that world a little bit. With Silent Hill, you just sort of kind of become introspective and really just try and reach inside yourself and get in touch with a part of yourself, that maybe is emotionally dark. For me, it is very important to be evocative emotionally, and I think there is an emotional element to the music in Silent Hill that is important, that it's moody. And there's something about moodiness that, I don't know why, it is kind of satisfying to people. I can't explain it, but it's just like, like a foggy day is kind of interesting. Why? I don't know. It's cool, Silent Hill is my first game scoring experience. It's been really interesting because not only am I scoring to picture, I'm scoring to the gameplay as well, which is kind of fun because doing TV and film, everything is to picture. It's actually nice to get back to what I used to do. It was just music.
Man, cut the bullshit. What is this place?
The first thing I do is create the sound of the world. So that would be doing sound design, sampling instruments, creating patches, just deciding what instrument's going to be, and then writing themes, making percussive loops. I tend to, as much as I can, make all of my own original loops and sounds.
Hello? Anyone here?
So the similarity between working in the film and TV world and the game world is that I try to create a sound world that exists there. In the game world, they're actually creating a world as well. My first job is to figure out, okay, what is the music that's in this world?
Guess this is it. No fond farewell? You gonna miss us?
Not even a little.
Move them out!
I'm definitely creating themes for Silent Hill. They're not necessarily sweeping orchestral themes. I'm definitely, using thematic material. I find themes to be evocative. That's why I like to work with thematic ideas. And sometimes a theme can be just a rhythmic theme. People always think themes have to be melodic, but a theme can be so that's a theme as well. I think you're going to want more. Oh, we're not singing, so there is no level there. Just starting on the creative process for a project. With the computers now, there's just millions of sounds that can be at your fingertips at any moment. So then the question becomes, how do you find the right sound? I'll try and focus on what the mood is first, and then I want to get an overall feeling. And I might just sit at the piano and come up with some chords or some themes. And then I'll try and figure out, okay, what instrument can I play this on? A pump organ or out-of-tune toy piano playing this melody. On the other hand, sometimes I'll just find a sound that I like and the melody will come out of that. Maybe a little sharper on the edge. Okay. So it sounds a little bit like the sample there. I will feed off the mood of the visuals that I have, not necessarily the specific. If it's foggy, that doesn't necessarily mean the sounds have to be dead. But if I'm working on a piece, even if it's gameplay, which is not to a picture, I will find a piece of the picture that I'll run just to make sure that the mood's right. And I might take that same piece of music and try it someplace else in the gameplay. And I'll go, wow, that's kind of cool there too. But I'll be writing music with a specific piece of the game in mind. You know, sometimes you don't have the game. I mean, you might be just given stills, and then I'll set them up on iPhoto with, dissolve so that at least it feels like I'm moving through a game. I structure my music so that you have increasing levels of tension. So in a certain level, I'll have an introductory piece of music. So when you first come in, it may be just kind of quiet and ambient kind of sounds. And then a second piece might come with a percussive vamp where the tension is increasing. Then there'll be, say, another one with a few more instruments. So I tend to layer and build so that things feel like they're going forward. And then if a character comes forth and you get in a fight, then a whole new kind of music will be cut in during the fight. My intention is to have some of the scenes have a more emotional music, so that it's almost like in a film, you're going to have a battle or someone's going to die, then you're going to have an emotional aftermath to that. So I'm seeing some of the dark music coming in certain scenes where if you looked at it visually, you wouldn't necessarily have to go that way.
What the hell is this?
I did ambient loops first. A lot of it I started with the loops, with percussion, and then I would, base some of the composition would be inside the loop, what works around the loop. It's finding the first sound to create the mood, and then you layer on top of that. I might add vocals, I might add guitar parts, mandolin parts, just to try and create the dimension. I always try and have space in my music. You'll have something that's right here, and you'll have something that's here, and then you'll have something that's out there. So in the same way that in the game world you have foreground, medium, background, musically I try and do the same thing so that the music feels rich, that it feels like it's part of the world. And sometimes it's just chance. Chance is the most exciting part of it. Go through it and you, wow, that's really cool. Since I was a kid, I was always into playing around with sounds. Like I'm walking down the street, and if there's a fence or something, and I'll take a stick and I'll go, I've just always been interested in that. So I think that's translated just from childhood to how can I make a different sound on this guitar. Some of my earliest musical experiences playing in a garage rock band. Growing up in Detroit, playing Rolling Stones, and Jimi Hendrix, and Cream. That's kind of where I started. And then I got exposed to jazz and got a little more sophisticated, John Coltrane and some of the modal jazz. Started listening to world music. There was a DJ in Detroit on whatever the public station was who had a midnight to 4 a.m. show, and he would just play just great stuff. He would go between like Herbie Hancock, Sleeping Giant, super weird, funky Herbie Hancock sextet stuff. And then he started playing Balinese music, and then there'd be some obscure jazz thing, and I would just lay up all night listening, and I'm like, wow. I just got exposed to the world of music. I mean, coming from outside of Detroit, which is kind of suburban, to just going to the middle of the East Village in the 80s, it was just crazy stuff going on. But it was exciting. Miles Davis lived across the street from my friend's girlfriend, and we used to go and hang out with Miles. Miles would just be like hanging out in front of his place, and we just like, hey, Miles, what's happening? And he'd invite us in sometimes. It was just like New York City, everything was there. The whole punk movement was happening at the time. I played in a crazy band at CBGB's, this experimental rock band. It was just completely free expressionist rock. I mean, it was just like, just pure noise, really loud, fast noise. In doing my film and game music and TV music, I've always approached music the same way. It's like, how can I make something sound different and new. Like I'll pick up an instrument and I'll go, what would this sound like bow? So I applied that kind of the avant-garde experimental music to as much mood as I can in terms of my composing. I first got involved with the project, I think Konami had reached out to me through my agent, and I was really excited about it because I saw it as a good opportunity to bring my sensibilities into the world of Silent Hill. It seemed like a good place to experiment with. I've done a lot of sort of dark music. I mean, I started doing horror films. It was the first, I did a vampire film when I first moved to California here. So I started out in the dark genre. And this seemed like a really good opportunity to just experiment and expand kind of the type of music and the world of music that I'm working in.
Hope you find whatever it is you're looking for.
What's exciting about working on Silent Hill and getting involved in the whole world of Silent Hill, to me, is that it's a chance for me to expand my artistic sensibility into a new realm. There's different demands in the game world, and there's a certain amount of freedom that I really appreciate. And the whole Silent Hill world itself has a good reputation for music. Music is a very important part of Silent Hill, so I consider it to be an honor to be asked to step in.
Something wrong, son?
So far, I've had a really great time working with Konami. Everyone seems really fun and into their job and into the games, and I've been given a lot of creative freedom, which is, really exciting. It's just been a great group of people to work for.